be something sharing his explanation on Srila Prabhupada.
So now let us invite Srila Mataji to give her offering.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So Her Grace Shavani Mataji is a very senior disciple of Srila Prabhupada, and she's also one of the pioneers of ISKCON Hong Kong and has done so much for the growth of our yatra, for which we'll always be very grateful. And so we invite Mataji to now share with us her deep realizations about her beloved spiritual master Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
咁我哋而家就邀請Srila Mataji咧係俾出佢嘅榮耀啦。咁Srila Mataji咧就係聖巴巴嘅門徒嚟嘅，咁佢亦都係喺香港咧係差唔多係我哋嘅傳教先鋒嚟嘅，佢亦都做咗好多嘅傳教嘅工作。咁我哋係好你啊，你有。
Hare Krishna, everyone.
Hare Krishna. 咁多位。
Thank you very much for the invitation to come and participate in this wonderful anniversary of Srila Prabhupada's disappearance.
咁好多謝各位咧，係邀請我喺咁吉咁一個十分之特別高興嘅日子喺度啦，參與係聖泡泡嘅引職日子喺度。
Every year I give, yeah.
Sorry, Mataji. Can we put a stand for Mataji on the table?
Yeah.
We can't hear Mataji, and I don't think she wants to hold it all the time. So.
Yeah, that's better. Very good, very good. How we doing? Yeah, we got this. Okay. So every year, there's 2 times that I'm supposed to speak about my realizations of Srila Prabhupada, and I had very little personal association with him, so there's not much to share.
咁一年咧有兩次啦，有兩次我哋係講於聖泡泡關於泡泡嘅覺悟嘅心得喺度嘅。咁因為我同泡泡親身嘅接觸你唔多啦，咁所以其實分享呢方面可能唔係咁多喺度。
So instead of repeating what I've said before, I thought I would share something different today.
咁我唔想係再重複啦，我之前所講嘅嘢喺度啦。咁今次咧，我會用一啲新啲嘅嘢再講一次，用一啲新嘅嘢同你哋講喺度。
I'll begin with a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 11, Chapter 3, Text 21.
咁我會由一個引一個聖典博監派嘅詩節喺度啦，第11篇第3章第21個詩節講起。
Hare Krishna, everyone, please put your phones on silent, please.
希望大家能夠將嗰個手機嚟講係整一個靜音喺度。
Okie dokie. So, these are the symptoms of the bona fide spiritual master stated in Srimad Bhagavatam.
呢個就係因為呢個就係聖典博加雅談啦，所提及到講到一個真正嘅靈性導師係有咩特徵嘅。
Tasmad Gurung Prapadyeta Jigyasu Sreya Uttamam Shabde Pare Chanishtatam Brahmanigupa Samasrayam. Therefore, any person who seriously desires real happiness must seek a bona fide spiritual master and take shelter of him by initiation.
因此，任何人如果認真渴望個真正嘅快樂嚟講嘅，佢應該要尋找一個真正嘅靈性導師啦，係託庇於佢，係接受佢啟迪。
The qualification of the bona fide guru is that he has realized the conclusions of the scriptures by deliberation and is able to convince others of these conclusions.
一個真正靈性導師佢嘅資格嚟講，就係得到覺悟喺度啦。而呢啲咁嘅結論，得到覺悟之後嚟講，經典嘅結論之後得到覺悟啦，亦都係經過思考，亦都係點樣可以講服其他人關於呢方面嘅結論嘅。
Such great personalities who have taken shelter of the Supreme Godhead, leaving aside all material considerations, should be understood to be bona fide spiritual masters.
呢位大人物嚟講，佢係托比係至尊神手啦，而係將嗰啲物質嘅顧慮啊，將佢全部係放埋一邊喺度。咁從呢方面，我哋可以明白得到呢位就係真正嘅靈性導師。
First time I heard Bhagavad Gita, I moved into the temple.
咁我當初嚟講，我一讀博家梵歌啦，我就馬上係搬去廟嗰度住。
Yep, and the next morning I chanted 16 rounds.
咁第二日嚟講咧，馬上我就可以唱16個圈啦。
He can convince others of this.
就好似呢度講嚟講，佢可以係講服，令到你信服嚟講咧，其他人可以信服㗎。
He's so powerful. I compare him to a transcendental alchemist who can, the alchemist can turn lead into gold. He turned jagais and mudais into Brahmins.
咁佢有一個超然嘅一個煉金術師喺度啦，咁可以將啲普通嘅金屬嚟講變成黃金，就好似係朱一攤嘢將扎加瑪大嚟講係變成一個變成一個奉獻者一樣。
And he influenced so many people, everyone here, of course. I'd like to share some excerpts from a discussion between Mukunda Das and George Harrison of the Beatles.
咁佢影響到好多人喺度啦，包括我哋在座咁多位喺度啦。咁我想係引一啲嘅對話嚟講，就係關於Mukunda Das 同埋呢個 George Harrison 一番對話。
You can find these excerpts in Chant and Be Happy, the book.
咁你響係唱頌變快樂咁嘅書嚟講咧，可以揾到呢番對話。
So Mukunda asks George, what about Srila Prabhupada stands out the most in your mind?
咁跟住Mukunda就問 George Harrison 喺度啦，佢話響你腦海中嚟講啊，最Prabhupada最係特別之處嚟講咧，係喺邊度咧？
And George replied, I liked Prabhupada's humbleness. I always liked his humility and his simplicity.
佢話我中意聖Prabhupada嘅謙卑喺度，佢好中意佢謙卑同埋佢種嘅簡單。
The servant of the servant of the servant is really what it is, you know. None of us are God, just his servants. He made me feel so comfortable. I always felt very relaxed with him, and I felt more like a friend. I felt that he was a good friend.
咁我諗，我哋係僕人之中嘅僕人，我哋係僕人嘅僕人嘅僕人，呢個就係真正嘅意思就係咁樣，你明白嗎？冇一個人嚟講，我哋每一個人嚟講係神嚟嘅，我哋只係佢嘅僕人。咁我每一次同Prabhupada一齊嚟講，令到我係好舒服喺度嘅，你十分之係放鬆喺度啦。同埋我覺得同佢一齊嚟講就好似同一個朋友一樣喺度，我覺得係一個好好嘅朋友喺度。
Even though he was at the time 79 years old, working practically all through the night, day after day, with very little sleep, he still didn't come through to me as though he was a very highly educated intellectual being, because he had a sort of childlike simplicity, which is great, it's fantastic.
咁雖然咧，即使佢有70歲79歲高齡都好喺度啦，但係佢差唔多好每日嚟講咧，都係日以繼夜喺度，一日復一日嚟講咧，都係咁就去做嘢喺度。咁瞓得好少喺度啦。咁而唔單止係咁樣喺度咧，每一次去走嚟我，即係同埋嚟我度同我一齊傾偈嗰時嚟講咧，佢唔會係俾我一種感覺嚟講咧，表現到佢自己好似個好高即係學識好高喺度嘅，好聰明一個人物喺度嘅。反而佢係俾我哋講過佢一個好天真喺度啊，一個好單純嘅人一樣。
Even though he was the greatest Sanskrit scholar and a saint, I appreciated the fact that he never made me feel uncomfortable. In fact, he always went out of his way to make me feel comfortable. I always thought of him as a sort of a lovely friend, really, and now he's still a lovely friend.
咁佢係好偉大喺度咧，係非比尋常喺度嘅。即使佢係一個咁叻嘅一個梵文嘅學者都喺度，同埋一個聖人喺度啦。我係十分之欣賞佢喺度，因為佢永遠嚟講咧，唔會係覺得俾到人啲感覺嚟講咧，同一齊嚟講你係好唔舒服喺度嘅。相反嚟講咧，佢會係令到突出你自己，令到你講係覺得你好舒服喺度嘅。我成日覺得佢嚟講咧，就好似個好親密嘅朋友喺度啦。真係㗎，我覺得佢即使而家嚟講咧，我覺得係一個好親密嘅朋友，好親愛嘅朋友。
That was the thing about Prabhupada, you see. He didn't just talk about loving Krishna and getting out of this place, but he was the perfect example. He talked about chanting, always chanting, and he was always chanting. I think that in itself was perhaps the most encouraging thing for me. It was enough for me to make me try harder, to be just a little bit better. He was a perfect example of everything he preached.
呢個就係泡泡喺度，你可以睇到喺度嘅。因為泡泡嚟講唔係話淨係咁講，我哋愛 Krishna 喺度啦，離開呢個地方喺度啦。佢主席本身嚟講咧有一個好嘅榜樣喺度，佢成日教我哋嚟講，你要時時唱 Hare Krishna 喺度。咁而佢本身嚟講就係咁樣嗰度，你見到佢時時都係唱頌喺度嘅。咁我諗嚟講呢個就係佢本身係特別令到我係鼓舞喺度嘅。因為佢自己講嘢同埋佢做嘅一樣度，呢個係真係好足夠，令到我睇到佢咁樣嚟講，我自己想係努力啲，係做好啲喺度，係想逐啲咁樣係改善喺度。咁呢個就係泡泡個傳教啊，所帶出嚟一個好嘅每樣嘢嘅一個好嘅榜樣。
Then Mukunda asked George, "How would you describe Srila Prabhupada's achievements?"
咁跟住 Mukunda 就再問喺度啦，佢話你可唔可以講一講聖泡泡嗰個成就嚟講係點樣呢？
So George says, "I think Prabhupada's accomplishments are very significant. They're huge. Even compared to someone like William Shakespeare, the amount of literature Prabhupada produced is truly amazing. It boggles the mind. He sometimes went for days with only a few hours sleep. I mean, even a youthful, athletic young person couldn't keep the pace he kept himself at 79 years of age."
我諗泡泡個成就嚟講咧，係非同凡響喺度嘅，同埋係十分之係巨大喺度嘅。即使譬如我哋係將佢相比於呢個莎士比亞喺度咁犀利，泡泡嘅著作嚟講咧係好豐富喺度啦，亦都係好十分之嚟講係驚人喺度嘅，令到你根本係想像唔到喺度嘅。咁有時嚟講，你見到佢嚟講係每日嚟講咧，淨係瞓得幾個鐘頭喺度啦。咁我意思嚟講就係話，即使個年青嘅一啲，譬如你後生度又好，或者你本身係做慣運動嘅人都好喺度啦。當你同泡泡一齊嚟講咧，你好難係佢成一個79歲嘅人嚟講，你可能係跟到佢嘅步伐，同佢一齊喺度。
Srila Prabhupada has already had an amazing effect on the world. There's no way of measuring it. One day, I just realized, God, this man is amazing. He would sit up all night translating Sanskrit into English, putting in glossaries to make sure everyone understands it, and yet he never came off as someone above you. He always had that childlike simplicity. And what's most amazing is the fact that he did all this translating in such a relatively short time, just a few years. And without having anything more than his own Krishna consciousness, he rounded up all these thousands of devotees, set the whole movement in motion, which became something so strong that it went on even after he left. And it's still escalating, even now, at an incredible rate. It will go on from the knowledge he gave. It can only grow and grow. The more people wake up spiritually, the more they'll begin to realize the depth of what Prabhupada was saying and how much he gave.
你可以你覺得好驚奇喺度，其實泡泡所做嘅嘢嚟講咧，係你冇辦法係可以係量度得到喺度嘅。咁有一日嚟講咧，我哋會明白到你講啲神啊，呢個人物真係偉大，即係十分之驚奇喺度。咁佢會去成晚係坐喺度做翻譯喺度啦，將梵文翻譯英文喺度啦，將啲詞彙嚟講係翻譯過嚟，令到要每一個人都係明白佢所嘅了解呢個字喺度嘅。咁而佢唔會永遠嚟講走去某一啲人嘅面前嚟講咧，令到你覺得嚟講好似係高高在上咁樣喺度嘅。佢時時嚟講保持一個童真喺度，係好簡單、好純真喺度。咁仲我嚟講係點樣係令到我好驚奇嚟講就係佢係喺啲咁相對咁短嘅時間嚟講，短係咁幾年嚟講咧，佢已經係揾到好似係聚集到係好多嘅奉獻者嚟講咧，係收集咗 Krishna 之覺喺度。咁所有呢啲成千上萬嘅奉獻者嚟講咧，係令到呢個運動嚟講咧係好活躍咁繼續係推行落去喺度嘅。咁呢個運動嚟講咧，會變得係更加越嚟越強壯喺度咧。即使佢係離開咗嚟講咧，仍係繼續係再係繼續去傳遞落去喺度嘅。仲甚至乎嚟講係更加會加速喺度，一個係你想象唔到個速度嚟講係加快喺度嘅。咁佢係繼續去喺度啦，係將佢嘅俾嘅知識嚟講係傳播可以俾人明白得到喺度。 佢只會係呢個運動嚟講咧，只會係繼續係成長嗰度，更加多嘅人嚟講咧，會係喚醒佢個靈性嘅一個知覺喺度嘅，而更加多人嚟講，佢明白到 Prabhupada 嘅教導所講嘅嘢嚟講咧，係幾咁之係深，同埋幾咁之係個闊深度嚟講係幾咁之多喺度嘅。
One of the greatest things I noticed about Prabhupada was the way he would be talking to you in English, and then all of a sudden he would say it to you in Sanskrit, and then translate it back to English. It was clear that he really knew it well. His contribution was obviously been enormous from the literary point of view because he brought the Supreme Person, Krishna, more into focus. A lot of scholars and writers know the Gita, but only on an intellectual level. Even when they write, Krishna said, they don't do it with the bhakti or love required. That's the secret, you know. Krishna is actually a person who is the Lord and who will also appear there in that book when there is that love, that bhakti. You can't understand the first thing about God unless you love him. And these big so-called Vedic scholars, they don't necessarily love Krishna, so they can't understand him and give him to us. But Prabhupada was different.
咁其中另外其中一個偉大嘅一個成就咧，我哋可以提得到嚟講，就係聖Prabhupada嚟講咧，佢有時同你講嘢嗰陣時嚟講，佢用英文講啦，咁講到某一段突然之間咧，佢會引用一啲梵文喺度，跟住又解釋呢個梵係咩意思喺度，咁好清楚嚟講咧，佢呢方面係好熟喺度嘅，好精通呢方面嘅嘢喺度。咁佢貢獻嚟講係好明顯喺度啦，係好尤其是文獻方面嚟講咧，咁多巨大嘅著作咁多喺度。從呢方面嚟講咧，我睇到佢係從呢個著作嚟講咧，係帶到人哋嚟認識到係呢個至尊主 Krishna 喺度嘅，同埋更加嚟講係令人哋集中於去認識 Krishna 喺度嘅。有好多咁嘅學者啊，或者作家嚟講咧，佢哋都認識係博家梵歌喺度，但係佢哋只係喺呢個智性嘅層面喺度，即使佢哋寫Krishna 咁樣講喺度，但係佢哋係冇一個奉愛之心喺度嘅，呢個愛心佢哋係要，但係佢哋係冇喺度嘅，所以佢哋呢個就係個秘密喺度。咁你知道啦 ，Krishna 嚟講其實係一個人物嚟喺度嘅，佢係至尊主喺度啦，佢亦都係會係喺書入邊嗰個出現喺度嘅，但係必須嚟講咧，要係充滿係愛心、奉愛喺度。咁所以要你明白呢啲嘢嚟講，首先嚟講你要明白到你係除非係你有愛心喺度咧，如果唔係咁嚟講係唔能夠明白 Krishna 喺度嘅，明白神喺度嘅。呢啲所謂嘅偉大嘅學者嚟講咧，佢一啲係愛心都冇喺度，所以佢哋係唔能夠明白 Krishna 喺度嘅。然後只有聖Prabhupada嚟講係特別喺度，因為佢係有愛心啦，佢將 Krishna 嚟講係帶俾我哋喺度。
Prabhupada definitely affected the world in an absolute way. What he was giving us was the highest literature, the highest knowledge. I mean, there just isn't anything higher.
咁聖Prabhupada好肯定嚟講咧，係影響呢個整個世界喺度，呢個好絕對嘅嘅肯定係嘅。咁同埋仲有你講 Prabhupada俾我哋呢啲咁至高無上、呢咁至高嘅一個文獻喺度啊，呢個至高嘅啲咁嘅知識喺度咧，我意思嚟講係冇一樣嘢嚟講係比呢啲係更高喺度。
So since I saw this and I with George 108%, I figured, well, I'll share this one. This is good.
咁當我睇到呢個張孝信係講翻呢啲嚟講，咁覺得幾好喺度喎，於是我就攞出嚟與大家分享喺度。
You all know that George Harrison donated the Bhaktivedanta Manor.
咁大家都知道就係Bhaktivedanta Manor嚟講，即係倫敦嗰邊嗰間 Bhaktivedanta Manor 就係George Harrison係捐出嚟嘅。
He donated the money to print Krishna book.
咁係Krishna book 嘅第一次印刷嚟講，亦都係捐錢出嚟印嘅咯。
He did so many things, and the Radha Krishna Temple album, which you listen to every morning, Govindamati Purusham, he paid for that. 咁
佢就做咗個唱片喺度啦。我哋朝朝緊見神像唱Govindamati Purusham 嗰個唱片咧，佢都係出錢嚟講係出版嘅冇錯。
Well, in a letter that Prabhupada wrote in 1970, he said, "I think George does not require to become my formal disciple, because he is already more than my disciple. He has sympathy for my movement, and I have all blessings for him."
咁有一封信咧，爸爸咁提到喺度，佢話我諗阿 George 嚟講咧，佢係唔需要好似唔需要一定係要成為一個正式嘅個門徒喺度，因為佢已經比我嘅門徒係更加係似我嘅門徒係喺度嘅，佢係同情我哋個運動喺度啦，幫咗我哋咁多嘢喺度啦，咁所以我係俾佢係祝福喺度。
So when Srila Prabhupada was on the bed, when he was at the end of his adventure here, he pulled the ring off his right hand, and he said, "Give this to George. This is for him."
咁當聖泡泡咧喺病床嗰時，差唔多臨離開身體嗰陣時喺度咧，咁泡泡係將手上嘅戒指攞出嚟咧，跟住話將戒指俾 George Harrison。
Yep. So it's hard to wrap our head around how simple, humble, hardworking, determined Srila Prabhupada was.
所以你從呢方面我睇到，馬上可以聯想到泡泡嚟佢咁似係嗰種純樸啊，好勤奮咁樣工作喺度啊，咁有學識啊，咁即係咁勤力工作嚟講咧，我係馬上可以諗到聖泡泡幾咁似做呢啲盡咗咁多力喺度嘅。
So let's keep following in his footsteps.
咁我哋係繼續啦，跟隨聖泡泡嘅步伐。
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Shri Shri Gaura Nitai ki jai.
Jai.
Hari Bol.
Haribol.
Thank you so much, Grace Shavanya Mataji, for sharing those insights and in reminding us about Prabhupada's simplicity and his simplicity of heart and his humility, which was, yes, probably more attractive to many people, more than his scholarship in many different ways. Yeah, and it's a reminder to all of us also, especially those of us who are preaching. We may be very well versed in philosophy. We may know many shlokas and everything, but if we don't have the humility and simplicity of heart, if our sadachar or our behavior is not inspiring to people, then our preaching will be very limited in its how much effect it can have. So thank you, Mataji, for reminding us of that. Hare Krishna.
咁好多謝 Srila 媽子俾我哋呢啲咁有啟發性有關聖爸爸嘅咁好嘅品質，呢啲係包括係佢嘅謙卑啦，佢嘅簡樸啦，同埋乜嘢簡樸謙卑。咁我哋係即係應該好好學習，同埋咧佢係完全係唔係受佢嘅地位嗰個，即係用佢嘅地位嚟去吸引人嘅。佢係完全係用佢嘅品質，佢呢啲謙卑嘅品質、簡樸嘅品質咧，去吸引人嘅。咁所以我哋要記住一點就係，當我哋出去傳教嘅時候咧，我哋就要緊記我哋展示啲品質。就算我哋喺詩經上面有幾高深嘅認識啊、學問啊，但係如果我哋冇一啲好嘅品質，例如聖巴巴呢啲教導我哋嘅謙卑同埋簡樸咧，我哋嘅傳教係好有限嘅。
I just wish we could get hold of that ring. I wonder where it is now, because George Harrison has also left the planet. So I wonder who's that fortunate soul who received that Maha of Srila Prabhupada. Well, whoever it is, I hope the person knows how blessed they are and how fortunate they are.
咁頭先講到聖爸爸最後臨終嘅時候咧，就將佢手上面戒指除咗落嚟咧，係叫門徒咧係交俾George Harrison 嘅。咁馬志華我都好想擁有呢隻戒指啊！我哋可以想象咧係有幾大嘅祝福咧。咁係啦，咁而家 George Harrison 都離開咗啦，咁唔知呢隻戒指去咗邊咧？咁希望嗰個即係接收呢個戒指嘅人咧，佢知道咧佢係即係承受到幾大嘅即係祝福啊！
Hare Krishna. So we will move on to the next part of our program. Now we're going to offer Pushpanjali to Srila Prabhupada and followed by Guru Puja. So before we do that, we have the flower petals. We also have the Achman cup. Can I request all of you to please purify yourselves?
OK， 咁跟住我哋就係摘花啦，然後我哋就用做 Guru Puja。咁而家請大家就係靜一靜手。
You can give to those who have purified their hands. So the Pushpanjali will be led by His Grace Lakshman Prabhu.
咁而家請Lakshman Prabhu 主持呢一個。
So all
儀
the
式。
all the Prabhujis can go to the other side, please. Matajis can be on this side, and everyone can come forward close to Srila
咁
Prabhupada's
請行近
Vyasa
上
San
嚟啦。咁媽芝同白姑就分開，媽芝喺右邊，白姑就喺左邊。
So Prabhu, we offer 1 time or 3 times? How you want to do it?
What's supposed to do?
Maybe
Three
3
times,
times. 3 times. Yeah, okay.
Yes.
So we will offer the Pushpanjali 3 times.
咁我哋分開3次摘花。
大家企前啲可以見到泡泡。
可以please walk ahead, step forward, so we can see, we can have darshan of Srila Prabhupada.
3 times we'll offer.
Om Agyana Timirandasya Gyanajana Salakaya Chaksu Omilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manopistam Sapitam Yena Bhutane Swayam Rupa Katamayam Tatati Swapatantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yukta Pada Kamalam Shri Guru Vaisnavamscha Sri Rupam Sakrajatam Sahagana Ragulatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Satvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padang Sahagana Lalita Shri Viksakam Vitam Sacha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutane Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nivishesha Sunyavati Prachachya Deshatarine Esa Puspanjali Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutane Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Praschatya Deshatarine Esa Puspanjali Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutane Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin iti namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesa Sunyavadi Praschatya Deshatarine Esa Puspanjali Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Do you have a mic stand or no? Not sure. Yes, sorry, not for yeah, you go. Check the book.
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Samsara Java, Nananina no Kya. Gadaya Ganya Ganya Ganyatma Sankara Java Narita Yoga Gadaya Ganya Narabasya Vande Yudashi Jada Vinda Nitya Gita Majitya Manya Manatoda Sena Romancha Kalpa Shivananga Brajo One day to the Shita Nada Venda One day to the Nangan Shingana Dama Ninyamanyanado Yotasabatam Yujajoki One day you all Sri Samanada Vinta Chato Vidashi Bhagavata Shado Jnana Jita Mani Bata Shanga Daiva Jete Rasa Daiva One day you lost Sri Sananada Vinda Radhikama Nana Yoda Brada Madhuyanena Kina Rupanana Ratisnana Swana Nurupasya Vandai Guru Sri Nada Vinda One day Buddha Sri Nikundanyo no Radhike Nishita Yaya Nije Yote Adeshanita Masa sase Utasa java java eva sati Imo babo ya eva dasya One day Guru Sri Sadanada Vinda Prasadam Bhagavata Shado Yasa Prasadam Nagadi Putopi Jayam Juvam Yasana Sandam One day Guru Sri Sananada Vinda Krishna Visnaya Uttare Srimate Bhate Vedanta Swami Nityanamine Pati Deve Godavani Prajanine Divishesha Sunyavadi Rajajadi Satanine Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Jananda Srivasadi Gaura Bhattavenda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Jananda Srivasadi Gaura Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadada Srivasadi Gaura Bhattavrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadada Srivasadi Gaura Bhattavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.